So you expect me to take a pay cut in the next city on top of taking a loss? You feel me? That I ain't getting none of my back end? Nah, I need all my money when we go to Cleveland.
Lil Wayne suing Birdman for a wild $51 million wasn't just business, it was chaos on full blast. Wayne even called himself a prisoner, and while all that drama was boiling over, his tour bus got shot up in the middle of it all.
You feel me? Once I said that, I thought everything was cool, understood, but they had a cake baked for me, I guess. That's what they think. 4 o'clock in the morning, they sent my manager an email saying that I'm terminated. You know, that I was a security threat.
Juvenile wasn't having it either, walking away from a quadruple platinum run, suing Cash Money, and flat out saying those contracts were so nasty he wouldn't see real royalties for years. That alone tells you how deep the mess really was. After years of alleged money games, unpaid checks, and promises that never came through, artists from every era started speaking out about why Birdman's name left a bad taste. Fans worldwide were crushed watching this empire crack in real time. And if we're talking heartbreak, nothing hit harder than the collapse of the bond between Lil Wayne and Birdman. That fallout shook hip-hop to its core.
You know, my mama went to school with him. My mama was so scared for me to even be involved with him.
For those who don't know the backstory, Wayne met Birdman when he was just a young kid growing up in New Orleans. Birdman stepped in heavy as a mentor and father figure, signing Wayne to Cash Money Records when he was around 9 or 11 years old. Wayne himself admitted Birdman's name rang loud in those streets back then, and that wasn't music hype, that was real-world reputation. This wasn't just a label head chasing a bag. Birdman's name already carried weight long before rap became his main lane. Wayne even spoke on how his own mom reacted when she heard he was signing with Baby, which says everything about how serious that name was in the city. Wayne lost his biological father early, and later his stepfather, so Birdman filled that role and stepped in fully. Their bond was so close that old photos of them kissing on the lips circulated online, something Birdman called a father-son gesture, showing just how tight they really were. But by 2014, that relationship completely fell apart. Wayne accused Birdman of holding the Carter 5 hostage, refusing to pay advances, and keeping him stuck on the label like a prisoner.
And I know Birdman. I know him.
Man, Birdman raised me, bro. You heard me? You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like, you know, that's like a father figure to me. You know what I'm saying? Him and Slim. You know what I mean? I got the utmost love for him, the utmost, respect for him.
Wayne had already launched Young Money Entertainment in 2005 under Cash Money, signing Drake and Nicki Minaj into global stars. Cash Money owned 51%, while Wayne held 49%, a split that looked clean but quietly set the stage for disaster. On December 4th, 2014, Wayne finally snapped on Twitter, saying, "I want off this label and nothing to do with these people, but unfortunately, it ain't that easy. I'm a prisoner, and so is my creativity." That one line shook hip-hop like an earthquake. This wasn't just any artist talking, this was Lil Wayne, the same guy who helped turn Cash Money into a straight-up powerhouse. That tweet hit extra hard because Wayne was the brand. His longtime manager, Cortez Bryant, backed him publicly, saying Wayne carried Cash Money on his back for over 10 years straight. No debate about it.
And in New Orleans, you know, that name way before there was rap, before there was a Cash Money Records, that name held weight.
Right.
You know, my mama went to school with him. Right. My mama was so scared for me to even be involved with him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? All she would say was like, "Boy, that boy was 14 with $1 million. Like, ain't nobody on it now. I don't know how you got it."
Things spiraled fast. In January 2015, Wayne filed a massive $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money Records, claiming he was owed an $8 million advance for the Carter 5, another $2 million for finishing the album, plus royalties connected to Young Money artists. That's not a small mix-up, that's major business smoke. Wayne took it even further, accusing Birdman and Universal of conspiracy. According to Wayne, his Young Money profits were allegedly used to cover Birdman's $70 million debt tied to that same advance. That's not regular label drama, that's full-blown chaos with paperwork attached. The streets and the industry were watching every move like a slow-motion crash. Then, April 2015 made everything darker. Wayne's tour bus got shot up in Atlanta after a show. Nobody was hurt, but the streets went crazy with rumors. Phone records allegedly linked the situation to Birdman and Young Thug's circle. Young Thug affiliate Pee Wee Roscoe was arrested and later sentenced to 10 years. Birdman and Thug were never charged, but the talk exploded that Birdman was lining Thug up as Wayne's replacement, especially after Thug originally titled his project Carter VII before switching it to Barter 6. By 2018, the war finally cooled down. Wayne reportedly received over $10 million. Universal took control of his catalog, and Wayne was officially free from Cash Money. The Carter 5 finally dropped that September, debuting with a massive 480,000 units sold. Publicly, they patched things up. Hugging at Club Live, Birdman posting "Me and My Son," even an on-stage apology at Lil Louisiana Fest. But let's keep it real. For a long stretch, it looked like that father-son bond was done over money. And Wayne wasn't the first to raise alarms. Before his situation ever blew up, Juvenile already showed there was a pattern at Cash Money. Juvenile was one of the label's biggest stars, dropping 400 Degrees, which went quadruple platinum in 1998, plus classics like High and Back That Ass Up that still rock cookouts today. His run kept rolling. G-Code went double platinum, Project English went platinum, and Juvenile the Great followed suit, with Slow Motion hitting #1. Here's the twist though. Juvenile didn't even plan on Cash Money at first. After leaving Warlock Records over creative differences, he wanted to grow past bounce music. One day he crossed paths with Birdman on a bus stop in New Orleans. Birdman liked his freestyle, linked him with Manny Fresh, and history was made. Industry beef mattered too. Cash Money's rivalry with No Limit Records, especially tensions involving Mystical, nudged Juvenile towards Birdman. But by 2001-2002, Juvenile was out. He said the money wasn't right, and his lawyer found contracts so messed up he wouldn't see real royalties for years. According to Juvenile, Cash Money was using a criminal lawyer to handle entertainment deals, and it showed bad. Paperwork stayed sloppy, filings got messed up, and artists kept losing on the legal side. Juvenile said it wasn't personal at all, making it clear it wasn't beef, it was business mishandling. Still, he accused Birdman and Slim of eating good while he, Turk, and BG were getting the short end of the stick. That kind of imbalance always blows up. Juvenile sued Cash Money in 2003 for unpaid royalties, reportedly chasing $4 million, but settling for around $11 million. He allegedly said he was going to hit the label where it hurt most, the wallet, and criticized Birdman for messing up his reputation along the way. Birdman fired back in interviews, calling Juvenile a failure, and even claimed Juvenile left threatening voicemails. That back and forth turned tense real quick. Then things got even heavier when it came to BG. BG is a certified New Orleans legend, one of the original Hot Boys, and a key early voice in Cash Money's rise back in the early 1990s. His influence was massive. He helped bring the culture the term bling bling, a record so impactful it pushed a new word into the dictionary and defined an entire era of hip-hop. That kind of legacy can't be brushed off. With albums like Chopper City and the Ghetto in 1999, BG helped Cash Money build enough heat to lock in that massive $30 million distribution with Universal in 1998. But like the others, BG walked away in the early 2000s, claiming he was never properly paid for contributions to nearly 80 records. That's not a small complaint, that's years of work and influence. Then there's Turk, another original Hot Boy. Turk was brought into the Cash Money system early and helped shape the group's sound. Their debut, Get It How You Live, in 1997 moved over 400,000 copies, and Guerrilla Warfare in 1999 went crazy, topping the Billboard R&B and hip-hop chart and cracking the top 5 on the Billboard 200. Still, by 2003, Turk left alongside BG and Juvenile over unpaid royalties. Same story, different artist. Turk said he received zero compensation for around 80 records he helped create. Life took a rough turn when he spent nearly a decade incarcerated after a 2004 arrest tied to a drug raid, serving nearly 9 years before his 2012 release. And this is where emotions ran high. When Turk came home, Birdman didn't acknowledge it at all. Meanwhile, BG allegedly returned to a Cash Money chain and serious money. That silence spoke loud. In 2015, Turk sued Cash Money again, seeking rights to his music and damages over $1 million, saying the contracts were invalid due to sloppy accounting. The case settled out of court for roughly $1.3 million, which Turk later described as severance money without publishing rights. He briefly re-signed in 2016, but nothing ever came from it. Another dead end. Fast forward, and the Hot Boys reunion turned into pure chaos. Turk was expected to be part of the 2025 30th anniversary tour, but things fell apart when he refused a pay cut. Then at the Cash Money vs. No Limit Versus style battle in October 2025, Birdman publicly disrespected Turk on stage, saying, "We go with you when we want to." Turk wasn't invited and watched from home while hosting his own watch party. Turk fired back at BG too, calling him disloyal and clowning his outfit from the batter. Lawsuits started flying everywhere. Turk sued promoters for $300,000, and they hit back with a $12 million countersuit, accusing him of sabotaging the tour. The situation isn't far from over, and the tension is still boiling. Now let's talk about the real architect, Manny Fresh. If Cash Money had a sound, Manny built it from the ground up. Every major hit, Back That Ass Up, Still Fly, Go DJ, Bling Bling, all Manny Fresh production. He joined Cash Money in the early 90s and created that signature bounce-heavy sound that shook the South. Manny wasn't just behind the boards either. He was half of the big-timers with Birdman, dropping the platinum album Hood Rich in 2002. At first, he praised the label for teaching independence, but by 2005, he walked away over money issues and creative limits. He wanted freedom and, more importantly, fair pay. Manny said he was clearing $50,000 a beat, but the math didn't match the label's flashy lifestyle, and that raised some serious questions. Manny has always kept it real about what he calls homeboy business, and he didn't sugarcoat it at all. When friends and family start running serious business roles without real experience, things get sloppy fast. He straight up said your friend can't be your manager or your lawyer, because if a company doesn't want you to have proper protection, maybe that's not the company you should be rocking with. Birdman didn't take Manny's exit lightly either. In a 2006 interview, Birdman reportedly came at Manny hard, questioning his loyalty and framing the split like betrayal. Manny ended up suing Cash Money. And
now let's get into one of the spiciest situations, Gilly the Kid. Gilly has claimed for years that he ghost wrote for Lil Wayne early on, saying he helped sharpen Wayne's flow and contributed to the Top Carter era material. According to Gilly, that work went uncredited and the business behind it was even uglier. Birdman and Wayne have denied those claims every single time. Gilly was signed briefly to Cash Money in the early 2000s, but left around 2003 over money issues. He says he was promised a $200,000 signing bonus, but instead got trapped in unfair publishing deals and messy paperwork. Birdman has stayed firm on his side, saying in 2023, "I ain't never made $1 off Gilly, and he for sure ain't never wrote one rhyme for my son Wayne." The tension simmered for years through diss records and street DVDs. In 2006, Wayne took a shot at Gilly on Problem Solver from Dedication 2, and Gilly fired back hard on Cheddar DVD Volume 6. Gilly threw out wild accusations, saying he loaned Wayne jewelry for videos, advised him on business, and exposed what he called fake behavior inside the Cash Money camp. Then in 2023, things blew back up when Birdman jumped on Clubhouse with Whack 100 and said he lost all respect for Gilly. Birdman brought up an old story, claiming Gilly got slapped by Beanie Siegel in a Philadelphia store and didn't respond, framing it as Gilly backing down. Gilly clapped back in a video, questioning why Birdman waited decades to say anything. He said it took you 25 years to get some heart, and even claimed he's making more money now than Birdman. Gilly dismissed the Beanie Siegel story completely, calling it fake, but here's the twist. Despite all that smoke, Gilly still says he respects Birdman's hustle. At 48, Gilly says he's focused on family and legacy, not old grudges, making it clear the beef is more about past wounds than active warfare. Now let's talk about a feud that's been boiling for over 20 years, Pusha T versus Birdman and the entire Cash Money camp. This one started back in 2002 when Birdman allegedly didn't properly pay the Neptunes for their work on What Happened to That Boy, which featured clips. Pharrell reportedly refused to work with Cash Money after that situation, and since Pusha T was tight with Pharrell through the Star Trek family, he took it personal. That moment planted the seeds for years of tension. Things got even messier when Wayne started wearing Bape, a style closely tied to Clips and Pharrell's lane, turning fashion into another layer of disrespect. By 2006, the tension was loud and public. Wayne landed the Vibe magazine cover, Bape was everywhere, and clips dropped Mr. Me Too with Pharrell throwing slick shots like, "Wanna know the time? Better clack us." Lines most fans took as a direct jab at Wayne biting the whole style, shoes, watches, everything. Wayne didn't duck it at all. In a December 2006 Complex interview, he brushed clips off completely, saying he didn't even see them as competition. He claimed they had to link with Cash Money just to get hot, and even downplayed Pharrell's influence, questioning why people hyped him up so much back then. The beef went nuclear in 2012 when Pusha T dropped Exodus 23 verse 1, breaking down Cash Money's layered contract setup and calling out what he saw as shady business moves. That record landed right in the middle of growing tension inside Young Money, while Wayne was already fighting over the Carter 5 behind the scenes. Birdman responded later in an XXL interview, calling the situation not cool but playing neutral, avoiding direct shots at Pusha T. That same era opened the door for another major fallout, Tyga. By 2015, Tyga openly said he wanted out of Cash Money and dropped the Gold album independently through his own King's Records imprint. 2 years later, during an interview on The Breakfast Club, Tyga claimed Cash Money owed him between $12 and $15 million in unpaid royalties, included money from Rack City and other hits. Tyga said he held off on suing out of respect for Wayne, explaining, "I just want Wayne to get what he's owed first." But by August 2018, the gloves came off. Tyga officially sued Birdman, Lil Wayne, Cash Money, and Young Money for breach of contract. At first, reports said it was for $1 million, but later documents showed claims ballooning to nearly $10 million. Tyga pointed to unpaid royalties from Careless World, Hotel California, and singles like Faded and Make It Nasty. Then Birdman flipped the whole story. He fired back, saying Tyga actually owed Cash Money money due to unrecouped advances. Accounting statements allegedly showed Tyga's royalty account was deep in the red, completely changing the narrative. In April 2019, Tyga voluntarily dropped the lawsuit with no settlement. Sources said negotiations collapsed, and Birdman's claims about advances played a big role. The case closed without prejudice, and things stayed quiet. Until 2022, when Birdman once again pushed back on Tyga's $12 million claim in interviews. And finally, we get to the most recent chapter, NBA YoungBoy. Around 2018, Birdman took the Baton Rouge rapper under his wing, calling him the biggest rapper alive and even a future billionaire, drawing heavy comparisons to Lil Wayne. They released a joint project, From the Bayou, in 2021, blending Louisiana roots and street energy. But subtle warning signs popped up earlier. On Wayne's 2020 track, Multiple Flows with Lil Uzi Vert, Wayne quietly warned YoungBoy to watch out for older figures, a line many fans felt was aimed at Birdman's history. Things boiled over in June 2024 when YoungBoy dropped Tears of War, a track he described as his last recording before a police raid on his home. The lyrics hit close to the chest, claiming betrayal and referencing past warnings he wished he had listened to. XXL reported that YoungBoy felt Birdman never truly had his back, despite all the public praise. Fan reactions were split. Some called it fire, others said it wasn't a full diss, just a few sharp shots mixed into a regular YoungBoy record. But here's the twist. By mid-2025, everything flipped again. In August, YoungBoy and Birdman reunited in New Orleans, tossing money to residents, with YoungBoy rocking a bulletproof vest and Birdman right beside him, signaling peace. By September, Birdman joined YoungBoy on the Make America Slime Again tour, saying, "I'm not about to let my little brother mess his money up." The tour went crazy, pulling in over $70 million. In October, they performed 100 Rounds live for the first time and dropped another joint track during the Cash Money vs. No Limit battle, with Birdman shouting YoungBoy out on stage, saying, "As long as I'm alive." If you're rocking with these deep dives and want more untold hip-hop history like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next.